Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Podcast, presented by the Daily Pal.
This is Purva.
And Amit.
And we're from thedailypow.com, a city-specific food and culture website. And this is our weekly podcast, The Podcast. On this edition of the podcast, it's an episode of the Bombay Binge. And on this episode, we have two guests. We have Anandita Kamani and Aditya Raghavan, founders of the Danda Food Project. And stay tuned for the episode to find out what they're up to.
Bombay Binge.
We're talking to the founders of the Danda Food Project. It's Anandita Kamani and Aditya Raghavan. What it is, it's a supper club, guys. You can pitch in if there's, whatever you want to call it.
It's a series of pop-ups.
Yeah, it's a series of pop-up dinners so far that was initiated in September last year. And they're monthly dinners and really exciting stuff. They're all sort of theme or concept-based. There's been a complete pork meal. There's been a nose-to-tail mutton dinner. There's been a seafood special, an Italian special, and both, I'm going to switch to calling them by their nicknames, both Anna and Addy prepare the food, and they're here to tell us more about it.
Yeah. So first up, do you want to tell us how you guys decided to start this? I mean, and tell us a little bit about your backgrounds and how you guys know each other.
Well, I think it was... So, I sort of partly live in Edmonton, in Canada. I'm a permanent resident there, but over the last 3 years while living there, I got a chance to interact with a lot of chefs, and it mainly started off with me teaching Indian cooking classes at an institute there, which does cooking classes for all sorts of cuisines and techniques and that kind of stuff. This happened to me because I'm a cheese consultant. So as a cheese maker, chefs were also interested in what I'm doing and that kind of stuff. And they wanted to learn cheese making tricks from me, and I wanted to learn their tricks from them. So I've always loved to cook, and I just got more and more serious about it. And so it reached a point, and obviously over the last 3 or 4 years, I've also been coming to India a lot. And Anna and I have cooked a lot at home for friends.
Okay, so you're all friends basically.
So we get along really well in the kitchen, and we've always really, whenever I fly into Bombay, the first thing Anna and I do is okay, what are we doing now? What are we going to cook?
Yeah.
And this is before we even started cooking for other people, like strangers.
Yeah. What about you, Anna? Club. How did you sort of...
So, for me, I haven't really been cooking professionally for very long at all. Between 2014 and 2015, I was in the Andamans in Havelock, where I had a gig at a friend's resort where I was cooking, and it was such a fantastic experience. But for me, I've always loved food, and I've always loved to cook, and loved to eat, and traveled a lot internationally, just eating in different places, and then I met Addy. 4 years ago now. And it was over buffalo mozzarella making class. He actually came home to give us a class. And unfortunately, his culture and rennet didn't survive, so the mozzarella was never made.
Yeah.
But we just bonded, instantly. And I think we were just, drinking wine and talking about food till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And, that's how we met and how food relationship started, really.
Right.
And
what I didn't mention at the start is it's called the Danda Food Project because Addy lives there. You both live there. You both live there. Okay, they're flatmates. And hence the name. They live in Danda, Khar Danda. And it's just off Carter Road, and which is why the name, just to fill the background.
Yeah. And we'll also get to how Khar Danda becomes a part of your dinners quite prominently. But, so you guys, when you decided to start doing this professionally and hosting these dinners for people, what was your inspiration? And, I mean, we guys know you socially as well, and we've had some conversations, and you all have a certain food philosophy. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, the first dinner that we did, I think this is when Addy had just come back from a fabulous trip to Nagaland. And he was very clear that he wanted to do this pork nose to tail. It was the first dinner that we did. And we were just talking about it, and it just sounded so exciting and so different. And I don't think anybody's done that kind of thing, in the city before. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to help you with this one. And I mean, I just, we just clicked so well in the kitchen. I mean, what was it at? It was like 48 or 72 hours of prep, almost non-stop, just before the dinner.
Yeah.
We were surviving on maybe 6 or 8 hours of sleep, but it was just such a rush. And, we just had such a great time, and we got such a fabulous response that we were like, we just have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And, I think as far as our food philosophy is concerned, we do share, many similar ideas. Adi, why don't you tell them a little bit about what you...
Food philosophy, I don't know if there's... Well, I'd like to say that there's a lot about Indian food that even us as Indians aren't familiar with. So that's one thing that drives me to discover more. Having said that, that's not the only thing. I mean, we did do, for example, an Italian dinner. Again, with the purpose of trying to broaden people's minds when it comes to Italian food and tell them there's more than just pasta and pizza. We did one pasta course, but there's so many
local
other things.
ingredients in that.
Yes.
So.
I think that's actually... We were actually talking about this yesterday. We were having just a random conversation about this yesterday. And it's a little bit hard to sort of define our food philosophy. But, I think that, now fine dining in India has just become... I'm not saying that we're fine dining or whatever, but I'm just saying that, fine dining in India, or like a, sort of... interesting eating out experience in India is always typically sort of European, French and Italian food, imported ingredients, the meat's imported, the cheese and the veg and everything. And, there hasn't really been a lot of focus on local produce, until recently. I think now people are sort of doing it more and more.
Yeah, but there's still few and far between. Right?
Few and far between, and I mean, for example, even this Italian dinner that Adi is talking about, it was Italian in style, but we really just did it because we wanted to focus on winter vegetables available at the time, you know. So everything we used was local, from our local markets, our local sort of greengrocers and fruit guys and fish guys and meat guys, So
what's what's interesting, Adi, you just said that it's about showcasing. One is local produce, but the pork meal, which is the one I'd attended first, it was like pork dishes from across the country. So not just like underused cuts of the meat, but also dishes from across the country, which I thought was very interesting. Even as a food writer, I'm still pretty squeamish about offal, but nothing about that meal was unappetizing.
It wasn't awful.
It wasn't awful, yeah. And like there was the blood rice, which was my first experience with blood rice, and then the mutton meal, one that I attended recently, had the blood pasta, and both were fantastic. So it's interesting. Like, I don't know about philosophy, but I think that is a great approach. That you're just. I mean, it's the same meat, so that's your theme, but it's like tying in different parts of.
Tell us about some of the dishes that you guys, in the pork meal and the Italian meal, that sort of showcase some of the stuff, because a lot of your food, your menu is also influenced by your travels. Like, you spend a lot of time in Nagaland, for instance.
Right. Well, I've been there 3 times, but but just 1 week trips each time. I don't like have a third home there or something.
Oh, that's what I thought. Because I just call and you're like, oh yeah, I'm this was like right after the mutton meal. He's like, yeah, I'm in where were you? Meghalaya? Yeah, I'm in Nagaland. Okay, and I was like, okay, he probably lives there as well. So
yeah, I could. There is a village, the village of Chizami, where the people love me a lot. I think I could find a small
only there.
I could probably
Chizami.
Yes. There's no milk in Nagaland. It's not. That's not an option. But anyway, so I don't know. With the pork dinner, maybe I suppose the momo was a big highlight.
Oh, that was fantastic. The one with the ghee.
Yeah, with the ghee and chulpi cheese.
Yeah.
And that's sort of I think that's one idea that I really had, which and Anna and I fought over it for a long time because she couldn't, because it was still theoretical. It's not like I made it for her and asked her what she thought. We were just talking about it. She's like, it doesn't make any sense. And then when we made it, it was just. She was just like,
but why didn't you think it made any sense?
Well, I was still thinking of the momo as a momo. And, suddenly he was like, yeah, well, there's also cheese and there's ghee. Okay. And I'm like, what? And, so we argued about it. But really, when I put it in my mouth, I was just like, it makes perfect sense. It's like ravioli. And, there was this dale chili reduction, this tiny little drop on the momo
Yeah.
would just tide it all together. It
Yeah,
was
that really
really such
elevates
a
it.
beautiful dish. I want
That-
to kick myself after that.
I think the momo and the one that y'all just did, the mutton one, which had the
The
baklava.
baklava.
Oh my god, that savory baklava blew my mind. Which y'all had help with that meal.
Yes.
That
from,
actually, I have to say, give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
That savory baklava
Yeah.
was Neha Sumitran's idea. You know, we're all friends.
Right.
And I mean, when she said it to me, you know, she was like, Anna, Shami baklava.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. I felt like I was going to get a headache or something. It was so good. You know?
Yeah, as soon as she said it, we were like, oh, this is going to be the next momo.
Yeah, the next
Yeah.
momo, for
Yeah,
sure.
this is going to be the
Yeah.
super hit.
Do you know what's really interesting about the two that I've attended is that the mix of people that have shown up for this, and I was really amazed because they're not people like, they're not bloggers, they're not food writers, they're not they all from all different walks, and they just sort of have a nose for food, and they found you guys. Do y'all know how they discovered y'all, or is it your social media
Because
that's driving
your
interest?
Instagram, I guess your prime mode of
Yes,
promotion.
our
Yeah.
only mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
because you're
sometimes
not
we
even
post
on
on
Facebook,
Facebook.
right?
No, we don't have a
Facebook page, yeah,
we don't.
but you have an
I like
It's
to
just
I like to
Instagram.
think Daily Powers post helped a
Yes, it
bit.
did.
Yes,
Actually, yeah.
But, I'm-
it did. A couple of people did tell us,
Mentioned,
oh,
yeah,
we're so
when
glad we read it on Daily Power.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
What to
well,
do
I was
this
just saying
weekend or something like that. I think it
in
was
jest,
the couple Shloka and Uday.
Uday, I think
they
so,
learned
yeah.
of us from Daily Power.
Yeah.
They've
Oh,
come back
yeah.
every time.
So we've had
They'll
a small
each
part
read
to
in
play.
but otherwise, well, how has the discovery been? Because you all send out a newsletter now to people who have attended the meals.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, how are people?
Because you get a
is
lot of
it word
repeats also,
mouth,
right?
or-
People come for everything.
A lot of repeats. So many people come back literally
Yeah.
for every single menu, and
Yeah.
it's so.
And
I
we should
dined with
mention
a
here
guy
that
who
each
did it
dinner is
3
only
times.
12
Yeah.
people, right?
Yes.
Each dinner is
12
so
people.
it's, and you'll hold about like a couple of them, 3, 4 of them. How many do you do typically for each?
Typically 2 nights a month.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
2 nights of the same menu.
So that's
a month.
really sort of like I was going to ask you that also, that, you know, why don't you all repeat them? Because you'll do like, there's only this 2 chances to come and attend these pop-ups. Do you all like, is it that you all just
Is it
want to
very
like,
like strenuous?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's a lot of work, and
It
we
is a lot
both
of
have other gigs,
Job, yeah.
other work to do in life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately,
But
this is a passion.
This is a
and we-
passion project. You know,
we
we
wanna
don't make
spend at
money
least
off
one
of
week.
it or
Okay.
anything like that. It's just for the love of, sorry, Addy, for the love of cooking and eating and feeding.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I've seen them both in the kitchen. They come out like to introduce each course.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, they're just like, oh, leave the house now. We want to have our beer and food. No, I know that's not. You've asked us to stay back each time, but, you know, the look is just like we've been toiling over the stove for like hours.
So,
That's-
but do you all repeat the themes again? Or is it that once you've done it, then you want to move on to something else?
we like to move on to
Yeah.
something, you know, new things and try new techniques and come up with new ideas.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you
And-
know, I mean, we've definitely gotten so many, you know, sort of requests from people saying, well, please repeat this
Yeah.
dinner, please repeat that menu. So maybe, yeah.
Is feedback real time for y'all? How are y'all getting feedback for these meals? Is it just like because they're selling out each time? Because that could also be a smaller number.
Yeah.
Or are you asking them over emails after they've left? Or are you all sort of gathering any?
Well, I mean, it's not like we really, I mean, we should, Addy, actually, now that I think about it. But, you know, I think a lot of the feedback definitely is verbal, you
Right.
know, after the meal. And so many of our guests that have come for, you
They
know,
come
different-
back.
They come back.
Right.
You know, I
Which
think
is-
that speaks volumes.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, so many times they've just brought friends. And,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had guests that have come back 2 nights of the same menu, you know,
Right.
both nights with different groups of friends, which is just so that for me is, you know,
Yeah. And the themes, I mean, do you also base them around what's available locally
Yeah.
at the moment, what's seasonal?
Yes.
That's typically how you do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
a
What
lot
ab-
of the time, yeah.
What about the meats though? Like, you know, I mentioned you'll use a lot of offal. So is like a vendor that you guys have been using for your own home cooking, or is it something that you'll have to actually seek out if you're doing nose to tail? How easy is it to get that?
Well, there are definitely 2 or 3 butchers that we go to, butchers that we've known for many, many years and have had a relationship with.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely harder to source, you know, things like blood or, head or, things like that. But, we usually take recommendations just directly from the butchers. So it's, we know that it's a good quality product and that it's fresh. But these other butchers we've known and we've had relationships,
How do you source blood? I've never gone to a butcher and said, give me blood.
Have you ever seen a goat slaughtered?
No,
Have you
I haven't.
Bakri Eid.
Just like it's a good.
Well, but when it has to be freshly
I see.
killed.
Okay.
The blood is collected in a small cup.
Which we
while
usually
the
get
animal
for
is
free.
being-
I don't
Before
think
it
we've ever had to pay for
coagulates
blood.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Really?
By the time it's completely butchered, it's in that cup, it's coagulated. So
Oh,
they
I
just sort of toss
see.
it into a plastic bag or in a small
Okay.
bottle and give it to people.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Wow,
I think Bakri Eid
interesting.
is coming up soon. but there's also, right now, you're working on the next one, right? Which is
Yeah.
mango.
Tell us about it. Tell
Yeah.
us something that's on the menu. Tease the meal.
So mango, I think we both thought of this. I don't remember how we came up with the idea, but mostly because we wanted to highlight other types of mangoes apart from Alfonso.
Uh-huh.
It's like this Bombay obsession with Alfonso
Yeah.
mango.
And
it's
Delhi,
like-
by the way.
Yeah. Delhi,
Delhi
really?
only knows Alfonso.
Yeah, mango means Alfonso. There's so
Yeah.
many people
Yeah.
who are so proud of this, and I know I have this farm in Ratnagiri from where I get the mangoes first and all that. So we wanted to talk about some other mangoes. It was not our idea, to be honest. It's again a collaboration with Sana Javeri Kadri.
Yeah.
Sana.
Oh, I follow
Yeah.
her on Instagram.
Yeah.
Her Instagram looks
Very interesting,
ridiculously
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Is she involved in food in any way, or what is her?
She used to work in, if you've heard of Buy Right in San Francisco, it's
Okay.
it's a grocery chain,
I
and
see.
they also do Buy Right ice cream.
Right.
So she used to work with purchasing or something out there.
Oh, I see,
Some way involved with food production. And she also has worked with People's Kitchen Collective.
People's
I think,
Kitchen
yeah.
Collective, yeah. I think
Right.
that's
So when she approached us, it was like, yeah, man, she knows how to cook. So
Yeah,
it'd be
well,
good
I'm
to work
reserving
with
my
her.
spot right here. That's
Done.
just
Yeah,
count
I was
me
calling
in.
it
done.
the Aam Aadmi Party.
Oh,
Because
God.
that's not
thought
cool
that.
anymore.
You should.
I think we won't get any ticket sales.
After
Worried, yeah.
their Delhi results, maybe not.
Right.
How do you become a cheese consultant, Addy?
Well, I was a postdoctoral fellow in the University of Alberta in Edmonton, and I was just like
So you're really
fooling
Dr.
around.
Addy?
Yes, I'm Dr. Addy.
Oh my God!
Officially.
Wow.
Officially. So I was just like for fun at home. I used to do all sorts of things. I used to make cheese. I would make kombucha. I've brewed a couple of beers, sourdough bread, the goat belly bacon. Remember I showed you that, Anna? Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And so then I just I sort of lost interest in my academic career, and so I worked with a couple of dairy farms in around Edmonton. And I really liked it, and it was fun. So cheese making became a more serious hobby. It was still a hobby. It was like a weekend thing. I would go on weekends, drive up to the farms. But then when I came back to India, I realized that dairy is such a big thing in India, right? India is the number one dairy producer in the world, and we all have a connection somehow or the other with milk or milk products, right?
I'm lactose
Industry,
intolerant.
lactose
Not
intolerant,
really.
or
Well, I can have milk. I can have
lactose
cheese.
hating.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's
cheese.
a
Yeah, we're
convenient
selectively
lactose,
intolerant. Yeah.
intolerance.
But I mean, like everyone's childhood somehow has some form of dairy in it, right?
Yeah, me throwing
Dear
up.
Maybe not in Northeast. not in Korea, I would say.
I
But
used to write, "Dear Dairy, once again I have been forced to have milk."
no, but the mutton meal had this fantastic goat cheese and honey dessert. Did you make the goat cheese?
No, I wanted to source it from the goat cheese people I'm working with in Bangalore,
Okay.
but they just couldn't send it in time. So we bought goat cheese, and we made the rest in house.
So this goat cheese and honey dessert, it just seemed like the simplest thing to do, and yet nobody's done it. And I think that it should be permanently featured across your meals. And
wow.
you all should do a matka
Thank
giveaway
you.
for anyone who shows up. They serve it in a little matki, and I can taste it right now. It is fantastic.
Wow.
You know, speaking of that, have you guys ever considered sort of scaling up, or is this, like you said, is it purely a passion project? Because this is stuff that people would like she's saying, if you saw it on a menu somewhere, you would definitely order it. So like, but now it's only available at this sort of 2-night pop-up thing. So have you ever considered sort of maybe leaving those other careers and sort of
I
trying?
mean, we're
Yeah.
expanding our repertoire right now. I don't know where it's taking us. I guess it's a conversation Anna and I need to first have.
Actually, it's a conversation that we've definitely started to have, but yeah, I think for now, we just want to stick to this format, I feel like.
I mean, and to be honest, neither of us have been to culinary school.
Yeah.
So we challenge ourselves every time we do a dinner. We challenge ourselves with learning at least 1 or 2 new techniques.
This for us is pretty much an
So it's
education
an
as well.
education for us as well.
It's very interesting you say that, because when you're doing, say, like the stuff you'll make at home, now if I enjoy cooking, or any of us, we don't make these elaborate foods. So what are you looking at books? Are you looking at internet? Are you asking friends for recipes? How is the recipe repertoire growing?
I think, there's a sort of range of sources that we draw from. I mean, recipe books and stuff, yes. Family recipes. A lot of the time, it's sort of things that we've had, at home, our mothers have made, our grandmothers have made, on our travels, or and of course the internet and stuff as well.
I mean, because you mentioned the momos, then the mutton meal had your rezala.
Yeah.
And you all also did the jardalu mutton. So I'm guessing those, that's a family recipe that would have been, or So it's really interesting, the kind of research that is going into this, because it's not regular, it's not everyday food.
Yeah,
and the plating is also fairly elaborate.
Scroll through your Instagram and see the kind of stuff that this is not like your regular stuff. This is like Master Chef-y kind of.
Yeah, and the plating is great as well. I mean, there's a lot of thought in
Thank
that,
you.
which is great. And I'm guessing you'll have invested in some fine cutlery, because I don't have cutlery like
We
this.
rent.
Oh, you rented?
It's so worth it, yes.
No way!
Yeah.
What is this service? I should write about it. That's
Yes, you
fantastic.
should. And all of these people, all like Chef Chinu rents from the same people.
Yeah.
I've spoken to many
Yeah.
catering people who
Okay.
rent from
Yeah,
wow,
from
I
this
didn't know
particular
that. I
guy.
just thought that you guys invested in nice plates. So Adi, you mentioned that the mango meal you'll be looking at more than doing just Alfonso. So what are some of the varieties you're using, and where are you guys sourcing mangoes from?
So we're going to be sourcing most of our mangoes from Vrindavan Farms.
Okay.
It's almost towards the end of season,
Right.
but Gayatri Bhatia, who runs Vrindavan Farms, has assured us that it's a good time to get almost 4 or 5 varieties of ripe mangoes.
Well, I've tried them. She does a Surprise Me box that you can order from her directly, and she has it on Shop Hop. They're the best mangoes in the country. I would not even say state. I've not tried mangoes from any other place, but I'm a bit of a mango crazy person. But yeah, so are you going to be getting all your produce from her for that one?
Not all our produce, but at least like most of the mangoes.
Right.
There are a couple of things like we still want to have. It's a mango dinner, so we're going to have elements other than just the fruit. We're going to smoke things with mango wood, for example.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We're going to do raw mango and ripe mangoes, like combinations.
nice.
Maybe a
Okay.
ceviche with raw mangoes,
Yeah.
with the raw mango juice.
An aam papad, we were thinking.
And ampapad, we're thinking, and
Nice.
then mango leaves wrapped and cooked fish. These are ideas that are still just floating
Yeah,
around.
guys, you're hearing it here first. They're actually teasing
And this is going
meal.
to be in the last week of June.
Last week of June, just like one last a brouhaha to the mango season.
Yeah.
Just before
And to
the
sign
final
up,
celebration.
you need
Yeah.
to just, how do people sign up?
We post about it on our Instagram, which is Danda Food Project, and we usually have an Insta Mojo link where you can buy the ticket online.
Right.
But that's as much as we do right now, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, only 11 seats are left since I've taken one, so sign up. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
for
Thanks so
having
much.
us.
Right. We see you next week. The podcast is an IVM production, and if you like our show, you should check out Geek Fruit with geeks Tejas, Jishnu, and Dinkar as they discuss the world of science fiction and nerd culture.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts.
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.